6 months had passed since Ethan Carter and Amelia signed the divorce papers. The once perfect couple had crumbled under the weight of misunderstandings, Ethan's relentless work schedule, and his inability to balance empire and family. Ethan buried himself deeper into Carter Enterprises, convincing himself that cutting Amelia out of his life had been necessary. But he hadn't expected the emptiness that followed. No matter how many board meetings, luxury trips, or late-night deals he chased, something gnawed at him in the quiet hours. Still, he told himself she was better off without him. That illusion shattered at the annual Carter Foundation Gala. The ballroom glittered with chandeliers, laughter, and the rustle of silk gowns. Ethan entered as always, powerful, composed, the kind of man people parted the floor for. He was prepared for another evening of shallow small talk, charity pledges, and wine he didn't really taste. Until he saw her, Amelia. She stood near the far end of the hall, bathed in the soft glow of golden light. Unlike the women dripping with diamonds around her, Amelia wore a simple pastel dress, her hair falling in loose waves over her shoulders. She looked breathtaking, but not in the polished, distant way society adored. No, Amelia radiated warmth, gentleness, and something else that froze Ethan's heart. She was holding a baby. For a moment, the world around Ethan blurred. The clinking of glasses, the murmur of voices, even the piano music, all of it faded to silence. His sharp gaze fixed on the small bundle in her arms, swaddled in pale blue. A baby. His chest tightened painfully. It couldn't be. Before he realized what he was doing, Ethan was moving through the crowd. People greeted him with smiles and nods, but he barely acknowledged them. His focus was locked on Amelia, and on the child she clutched close to her heart. When he finally stood before her, Amelia's body stiffened. Her eyes widened in shock, then softened into guardedness. She instinctively drew the baby closer, her arms forming a protective shield. Amelia. Ethan's voice was low, controlled, but his eyes burned with something wild. His gaze flicked to the baby and back to her face. Whose child is this? Her lips trembled before she set them into a firm line. It's none of your concern, Ethan. His jaw tightened, the muscle in his cheek ticking. He stepped closer, towering over her. Don't lie to me. 6 months ago, we were married. 6 months later, you show up with an infant in your arms. I want every detail about this child, now. The room seemed to shrink around them, whispers rippling through the crowd. Amelia's heart pounded so loud she was sure Ethan could hear it. She tried to stay calm, but his piercing stare left her no room to hide. Amelia's pulse hammered in her ears as the weight of Ethan's question hung between them. His voice had carried across the ballroom, and now curious eyes lingered, whispers spreading like wildfire. She hated that their private wound was being exposed under the glittering chandeliers of high society. Her grip on the baby tightened. You lost the right to ask me anything when you walked away, Ethan, she said quietly, but her words were sharp, slicing through the polished air. Ethan's composure cracked. His broad shoulders tensed, his breath shallow, and his eyes, usually cold and unreadable, were stormy, almost desperate. Don't play this game with me, Amelia. That baby. His voice dropped, but the intensity grew. He looks just like me. The baby stirred at the rising tension, letting out a soft whimper. Amelia rocked him gently, whispering soothing words. But Ethan's gaze never left the child, each tiny sound pulling him deeper into a truth he wasn't ready for. Unable to stop himself, he reached out, his hand trembling slightly, a gesture so out of character for the ruthless CEO that Amelia froze. She hesitated, torn between shielding her son and calming him. The baby's cries grew louder, small fists waving. With a reluctant breath, she allowed Ethan to take him. The crowd gasped softly as Ethan Carter, the man known for his cold indifference, cradled a baby against his chest. The moment the child's small fingers wrapped around his own, Ethan's world shifted. A lump rose in his throat, his chest tightening in a way he hadn't felt in years. He blinked rapidly, fighting the burn in his eyes. He's mine, isn't he? His voice cracked, hoarse and raw. Amelia's lips quivered, tears welled in her eyes, shimmering under the lights. I tried to tell you before the divorce, she whispered, each word trembling with pain. But you wouldn't listen. You were too consumed with your empire, with proving yourself. Every time I tried to speak, you shut me out. Ethan's jaw clenched, his gaze dropping to the baby's innocent face. A perfect mix of her softness and his own features stared back at him. Regret hit him like a physical blow. His voice faltered, breaking in a way he never allowed. He swallowed hard, his tone low, almost pleading. Amelia, I'll fix this. Whatever it takes, I'll fix everything. I swear, I won't lose him. Are you? The ballroom had fallen silent now, every guest caught in the charged scene unfolding before them. But Ethan didn't care. For the first time, the empire he built, the reputation he upheld, none of it mattered. All that mattered was the child in his arms, and the woman he had let slip away. Amelia's tears spilled freely, but there was no triumph in them, only the ache of years lost. She had once loved this man with every beat of her heart, and part of her still did. But trust wasn't something that could be rebuilt in one night. Still, watching Ethan cradle their son with such raw tenderness stirred something inside her she thought had died. Perhaps, she thought, this wasn't the end of their story. Perhaps, it was only the beginning. The baby stirred in her arms, letting out a soft sound, as if sensing the storm brewing between his parents. And in that moment, Amelia knew, this confrontation was only the beginning.